Sinjay. I've been cosplaying since 2014. 4 years. It's been a while. And this was my first and favorite con, so here I am today.
I'm Sharon Rose Cosplay, and I've been cosplaying since about 2012, so close to you, a little bit.
Yeah.
And I've been an artist my whole life, and for me, cosplay is therapy and art, and I love it.
Hi, my name is Brandon the Shapeshifter. I've been doing cosplay since 2012, and I do a lot of original cosplays because I love to be able to, write my own story. I actually just wrote a novel called The Brave and the Wicked, and it's the first of a series. So cosplay is awesome.
Hi everybody, I'm Batman. No, I'm kidding. My name's Al Vasquez, but I go by the Batsquez. You know, it's a funny joke that a buddy of mine just kept. My last name's Vasquez, and he just goes, you know what? Let's just call you Batsquez, and it's stuck. I've been cosplaying for 7 years now, but it's all my stuff is pretty much Batman related. Most of my cosplay is really geared towards just meeting kids. I visit children's hospitals and whatnot. That's pretty much my reason for suiting up. But this is great. This is my first time here at Terrificon. I've got great friends here. And yeah, I'm just happy to showcase. Really, I'm just a fan at the end of the day that I get to share my love for the Batman.
I am the Cosplay Coordinator for Terrificon and for GamerCon in March. I have been involved somehow in the community for almost 4 years now, with Terrificon for 2. This is my second as their coordinator. Outside of this, I also run Cosplay and Comics, which is on social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. And just to show that I do appreciate and support all types of cosplay, I actually operate 5 cosplay pages. I have Men of Cosplay, I have Cosplay LGBT, I have full figured cosplay, and I have cosplay of color for persons of color. I support all cosplay. You name it, I love it. And that's how I've met all of these wonderful people, and that's how I sit back every year before Terrificon and before I go to Mitch, and I say, this is what I'd like to do for our cosplay lineup. I want to make sure that I have someone who's plus size. I want to have guys. I want to have persons of color. I want to have LGBT. I want to have somebody that every person can walk through those front doors and relate to. Because I think far too often people walk into a con and there's the same cosplay guests. Nothing wrong, nothing against them. I feature them, I post them, I'm friends with them. It's fine. But I think that some people walk in and are intimidated and are unable to, again, relate to those guests. And I think everybody should be able to relate to somebody. So that's where this lineup comes from. Relates or is a member of each of those categories in some way or another, whether it's plus size, whether it's LGBT, whether it's a person of color, whether men, whatever, maybe more than one. So what do you feel diversity adds to the cosplay community? Anyone can start.
Well, in general, I just feel like diversity is what makes anything special. Like, that's kind of what we're all here doing. Like, if you don't have diversity, you're not really getting the full picture. And there are so many layers to a person, and it connects us. The more different we are, the more we're the same. And I feel like that's an important thing for us to remember, that at the end of the day, no matter how different we are, we're all here together and we're all the same underneath it all.
For me, diversity in cosplay is, sorry, I'm like snagging on my friend here. For me, it's a true representation of cosplay. When I look out in the con, anywhere, I see cosplayers with such joy on their faces, and they look completely different. They're all ages. There's families, there's people who are just starting off, there are people who are seasoned, and I think it's important that the cosplay community edifies and celebrates all different types. I want to see more representation in comics and in film, and I think it's equally, if not more so important, to see that representation in cosplay, because we are all fans of those art forms. And if we can push to say everyone here is valid, everyone here can be celebrated, we want to see that fandom spill out into our art forms and media and elsewhere too.
It's a good follow.
Just like what she said, Sharon said, I think it's important that everyone gets to have a voice and everybody gets a chance to be able to, you know, I love the fact that everyone has a different perspective on, like, you know, just on cosplay. And I know for me, when I just wrote my novel, it's very LGBT based, because I feel like in media, LGBTQ members are never represented right, you know, especially for me. I am part of the LGBT community, and I don't feel like, I never see a representation of myself. So I decided that I wanted to do a novel where I could find, I mean, I talk about straight people too, obviously, but like, you know, but it's like everybody who's included, and I feel like people who are always marginalized or told that, like, you know, they're not the cool ones, like, you know, I feel like they should always have a voice to be able to, you know, shine, I guess you can say. And I think that, you know, like this, could this be any more diverse on this panel right now? I mean, we're so different, but we're so amazing in our own little way. And I really dig that. So I really love that.
I like what Brandon said about having a voice. Batman también habla español y parle francés. So the idea is I like to surprise some of the people that I know, or for example, if there's some Hispanic members of the community who are into comics, I throw them a curveball when I tell them, hola, soy Batman, something funny. And it's a surprise to them, but they love it. They love that they're able to communicate with someone in their own language. So it's something, plus Batman speaks many languages, so let's be honest. For me, I actually enjoy, more than anything, some of the kids. I've had little girls come up to me saying they want to be Batman, and I give them, you know, my blessing. You can totally be Batman. There's no one to tell you otherwise. And the majority of the time, I'll even further that by giving them a little paper cowl or a cape. And, you know, I just basically try to encourage them to, regardless of whether their favorite character is male or female or what have you, just that's their favorite character, to go for it and pursue it. And it helps that I can do it in their specific language as well. So,
Yeah, I'll tell you, a couple years ago, my daughter got into cosplay, and she's like 3, she's gonna be 6 now. And her first cosplay was Superman, not Supergirl, Superman. She said pants, not a skirt. I'm not arguing with it. That's what you want to be, that's what you can be. I have tons of questions, but I want, if anyone has questions, please just ask. Like, if you, please.
So, my entire life, like from the start, I was born with what's called dysgraphia. It's kind of like the little known cousin of dyslexia. Basically, can't write or do any tasks with your hands, just like you can't process words with your dyslexia. And my experience with life has been that people with disabilities are marginalized within the marginalized communities to the furthest. How would you, and I'm starting to go into cosplay, how would you advise more seasoned cosplayers for me to be able to represent and empower my community as I'm getting more into cosplay? Let's go first.
Sure, I guess we're just going to. I think the first thing is for you to put yourself out there. That's like the first step in anything, is putting yourself out there. And the second that you let people know that you are interested in representing, you know, that kind of community in cosplay, it's gonna take off, especially because it's important for us to have that representation. And people, especially in the cosplay community, are waiting to help other people. At least I've found in my experience that if you ask and you shall receive, it sounds silly, but it's true. And the more that you continue to push for it And social media does play a role, I will say that as well. That would definitely help in having that take off. And just don't give up. Don't give up, because it's not unrealistic whatsoever. And there is representation, but there's certainly not enough.
Agreed. I think one thing that is important that I would like to see more of at cons is more awareness in terms of accessibility for disabled persons to be able to navigate con floors. To be able to have better access to the fandom and people that they're interacting with. And don't be afraid to ask a con to say, hey, I'd love to see representation in your cosplay guest lineup, or I would love to see a panel, or perhaps you would feel led to lead or coordinate a panel. And just for you personally, if cosplay is something that you are interested in doing, I just want to encourage you that what Al was saying earlier, and all of us actually, just if you want to cosplay someone, you can. You don't have to look like that character or function exactly like that character to still be that superhero, portray that person in your way. And it's perfect just as it's going to be. So I know that there are forums online of people who do prop making and costumes, and we all help each other sort of troubleshoot how do I make this? How do I make this if I have this issue or that issue, physically or otherwise, to be able to wear a costume in a certain way. So there is help available. We do help each other troubleshoot things like that. And I love to see that be a more vocal thing. Yeah, for sure, about how to tackle that.
I remember last year at Dragon Con, there was a guy in a wheelchair, and he couldn't walk, and he was cosplaying as what's his name from Suicide Squad, the guy with the guns. Deadshot. Yeah, let's get him. And he was like amazing, like what I'm saying, like this guy, like he couldn't walk, but he was still slaying it, and I think that if that's the community you wanted to to represent, then go ahead and do it. Pick out a character that you're really passionate about and slay it, really kill it, because I can tell you, when I first, I am part of the LGBT community, and I remember when I first started cosplaying, whatever, I got a couple of, F words, because when I wanted to gender bend, Maleficent, whatever, I can do whatever I want to do. You know what I'm saying? And you let them know that you do what you want to do. And I've always said, when you do characters, really do them justice and really put your foot in it. Because, you can really, shine, and if the conversation comes up that you are disabled, whatever, and, just, hey, have an open conversation about it. The more you talk about it, the more people will understand, and the more they will oh, okay, I never saw it from that perspective. Oh, wow, that's really cool. When I saw that Deadshot guy, I can say Deadpool, Deadshot, he was just killing it. If everybody wanted to take his picture. So I think if there's room for everybody in the cosplay community. I think that's what we're all trying to say is if there's room for everyone, so.
Everyone, both seasoned veterans and even some of your own personal friends, will be more than happy to help you see your vision through. So we're all, out to help. You just gotta ask for it. But definitely, what Brandon said, you own it, make it yours. I can't begin to tell you how much. This could easily be a Halloween store-bought costume, but the amount of confidence that you put into it, you could be. I could make a paper bag bat suit. But if I'm standing, upright and putting attitude into it, there's no one that can make me feel otherwise. Like that, I'm Batman, you know what I mean? So I think definitely follow through. That's going to be your best bet.
I'm curious because I'm listening. I'm just loving taking it in. And I got to tell you, this whole comic thing is so new to me. I came with a friend
Welcome.
who really is. Thank you, thank you. But I love this, and I'm just curious, can you, because I'm noticing, there's probably no representation of older people, so I'm thinking.
Oh, yes, there is.
Yeah, there's one of the guests who was out there is the cosplaying dad. He is, Tom, his name's Tom.
Uh-huh.
He is, I don't want to throw a number out there. He is
21.
He's
he's
younger than
certainly-
me, but not by much.
Right.
Yeah. Can I say
Right.
something about that? About him? He's
Yeah.
not here. Tom, first of all, I adore Tom, so I'm a little biased. But so Tom is really known for his Carl cosplay from Up, which is an older man. But you know what? He cosplays characters that are young. He cosplays all different ages. So just to show you, it doesn't matter what age you are.
Right.
You can choose to be
He
any
got
character.
into it old.
So then
I do
that's
original
ladies.
costumes all the time.
This
This is his design.
This is his
This
own
is my
design.
design.
Character from
Like,
the book.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah. So you can do whatever you want, and that's the thing that people don't realize, that like cosplay is so like this is a spectrum. Like there's no limits to it. You can do whatever you want. You want to come in as your own character, then do
Yeah.
it. No one can't tell you otherwise. You know.
It's a really beautiful art form, and I love that you could have 50 people who are dressed as Harley Quinn, and no two are exactly the same. You'll have someone who's screen accurate. You'll have someone who, goes with the animated series. You'll have someone who will create their own take or mashup on the character. All ages, all body types, and I love that. So yeah, you can create your own character.
Now,
you
but-
can
but
make
then-
your own art.
Can I ask just another, how do you connect? Like, is there like a website or a?
It's 90% of it is done on some type of social media, whether it's
Yeah.
Okay.
Facebook, it's Instagram,
Okay,
it's
so there's
Twitter.
probably
it's-
something on Facebook, if I
Yeah.
put cosplay in there?
Yeah.
I might.
There's a Facebook group for older cosplayers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank
There is.
you,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
Tom's in that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it?
What, like, when that group, yeah, the group that you're talking about,
Yes.
do you know do they have an age on that group?
I
Like you
don't
have to be
believe so.
over a certain.
I don't think so. I have a friend who's on there and they are, oh gosh, not 40 yet, I don't think.
Yeah.
So I don't think, I've never seen anything
Because
formal.
older is so
It's-
ambiguous.
It's very ambiguous. I
Yeah.
don't consider myself older,
Right.
but I'm older than all of you. And, but yeah.
I'm already excited about your super kick-ass design.
Yeah.
I
I'm waiting for it.
And
I'll
it's
be
a
posting
original
it.
character.
Inspired, yeah.
So, there you go. But now you've got an idea. Now you got to follow through
Make a
and
character.
bring it to next year's con so we can all admire it.
So for the ladies, hi.
Hi.
You're I mean, you're all amazing, but it's especially difficult, I feel like, as a woman when you want to portray a character and you're not there, like, I'm plus size, so I'm always, like, very conscious of that, and, like, I am afraid of harassment, honestly, and, like, every time I think about a character that I might want to do, then I'm worried about, like, getting harassed by other people for not looking like the person they're
So here is two things. One is that we are always the harshest critic of ourselves. So even me standing up here, like, people are just like, oh my goodness. And I'm just like, really? I don't know about this though. You know what I mean? Like, there's always that doubt that you have in yourself, which we have to squash out. That's why we're here, to build each other up and to have that confidence to step outside of who we are and become who we really are. And if we get in our own way, we can't truly do that. And the only reason I started this was because my best friend was doing it, and then I fell in love with it, I didn't do it because I, wanted to look a certain way or anything. I just fell in love with becoming someone else, kind of, and finding myself in that. And the other thing is that, unfortunately, people are awful, no matter where you go. And if we let that stop us from doing the things that we wanted to do, no one would ever do anything good in the world. And you have to do what's going to be best for you and not get in your own way, because at the end of the day, it's going to be amazing. You're going to look great. You just have to believe that within yourself.
May I? I actually have a response as well. Regarding, let's say you have a specific outfit in mind and you're worried about any kind of harsh criticism, there's one of two things that I wanted to say about that. The first being that people are sometimes the worst, okay? However, that being said, I can promise you that for one naysayer, there's gonna be 100 more that will love your outfit.
Exactly.
So you also have to keep that in mind, that, you might have some negative feedback feedback, but I promise you that there's going to be more positive than the negative. And number two, chances are anyone that has something negative to say most likely is probably some kind of coward hidden behind a computer screen or a phone, but I promise you they'll never in a million years tell you that to your face. So don't even think twice about it before suiting up next time.
I can tell you from posting pictures. I post pictures every day. That's what I do. I can tell you, regardless of male, female, plus size, skinny, super skinny, dead on costume, variant costume, doesn't matter. There's always going to be somebody who has something negative to say.
Everyone gets harassed.
And regardless, like you could pick whoever you think the most beautiful person in the world is. Somebody doesn't like them.
Yeah.
And trust me, I see the comments all the time. You wouldn't believe some of the absolute, and it's not even just plus size. We can say it as far as black, as far as male, as far as whatever you want to say. You would not believe some of the comments that I've deleted, that I've blocked, and I try to do it as quickly as I can. I pay attention when I post pictures because I don't want them to see it.
Yes, a bit more.
I don't want them to see it. Like I don't want them to take because that one comment that they see could be the thing that makes them quit.
Yeah.
They could be on that close to the edge of leaving cosplay that one comment is gonna, and I don't want, that's not why I'm doing this. I've had, there's a cosplayer who is a young female black cosplayer, did a Lara Croft from Tomb Raider. I can't use the words that people were using to describe her Lara Croft. And I was like, how dare you? Like, she can do whatever she wants. You can do whatever you want. And again, just like Al said, and I use the phrase over and over again, they're keyboard warriors. They are strong as long as they're typing on their keyboard from their mama's basement. Right? You know, they're probably 17 years old. And let me just tell you, I will tell you that there are cosplayers out there, and I've seen it, and I love it. And I didn't say that out loud. That will track that person down. That will find that person on Facebook, and will take the screenshots of those comments and send it to their parents, or send it to their wife, or send it to their girlfriend. Especially when it's the opposite end of the spectrum, and they're like, hey baby, da 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 da. Oh, look at that, you have a girlfriend. Click.
I just wanted you to know that when I started cosplay, I had been diagnosed with a health condition. I'm polycystic ovary syndrome, PCOS, and what? See, we don't talk about it.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't
Just
talk about
talk,
it because it can affects people differently, but it affected my physical self a lot. It still does. So I gained a lot of weight in 1 year. No matter what I was doing with my diet, I had no energy. I kept gaining weight. I have hirsutism, so I'm the bearded woman because my hormones are completely out of whack. I found myself not recognizing myself in the mirror, and I've been an artist my whole life, but I had not created anything for many years. So I was in this position in my life where I felt really genuinely depressed. I was going through depression, and when my foray into cosplay was making a costume and cathartically working with my hands was really healing for me. And when I put on my Captain America, I didn't see the body type that I didn't, recognize in the mirror. I didn't see all these quote-unquote flaws. I saw a strong superhero. Even though inside I was still really fragile, I felt confident. And I befriended some of the most amazing, edifying, character-building people that I know in this community.